I've done about 500 kilometres on this MT450, and I've decided I'll give it an oil filter change. And the reason being, I'm just curious to see what's in the guts of this oil, any rubbish or anything like that, with 500 Ks. Now, to make sure it's nice and clean, or what we can see, these are really hard to get. You can't buy these yellow oil collection trays anymore. That's why it's got a few cracks in the side up there. But the best thing about it, when I had the old Enfields, it used to show exactly how much rubbish come out of these motors. And I'm talking about the classic 500 because, you know, we must admit, or I must admit, they were the most dirtiest motors from brand new I'd ever seen in my life. So anything couldn't surprise me as much as the crap that used to come out on one of those brand new. Now, the idea I'm thinking of the I'll have to take these side covers off here to get to that oil filter because it's going to be difficult. I'll decide if I want to take that sump guard off. That shouldn't be hard to do, since it's made out of tin foil, and go from there. So I'm going to do the oil filter change, cut open the filter, and we'll see if there's anything in that after 500 kilometres. Just, you know, because it's a good Chinese bike, we'll just check what it's like. And I'll show you a clip when I kick it over, warming it up, exactly what kilometres on it. But at this stage, it's 500, so far so good. And, you know, I think it'll be sort of interesting. I've still got me magnets on the sump plug there, so everything there's holding fine. So I am ready to party. So, you know, some people might say, well, why leave it to 1,000? And I'm saying, who cares? And we'll do it now. So let's get into it and we'll go from there. I got a comment, I think it was the first clip I put up on the remap, and somebody said to me there that he would have given me a thumbs up on that clip when I was doing it, but he suffers a bit of arthritis in the fingers, so couldn't bear himself over to press the keyboard to give it a thumbs up. So I thought to myself, well, you know, this time, for any users who've got that trouble with the index finger. Now, I've always found like this Denker rub's not bad, you know, extra strength, because you know, it may help some. Actually, over the years, I've really never had any issues with fingering. You know, I've really been able to do it really good over the years, and they're still working fine now. But for those ones who have got, you know, a bit of rigidity in it and it's causing a few issues, once again, I really endorse anything on this channel, but here it is, Denker rub. So you can rub it on and rub it where you want to after that. So, you know, you've got options there all the time. So as it is now, let's get back onto this oil and filter change and see what my Chinese takeaway's got to show us. Anyway guys, I'm working at a blistering pace here. So at the moment I've removed the side guard here, and there she is there. So two bolts out there, 5mm hex. So I've decided now I'm not going to worry about removing that sump guard. There's no reason to do that. And in the meantime, the wife brought me back because she likes to see things done properly. I got one of these plumber's strap wrenches here over at Bunnings for $8. And the reason being, I haven't got a oil filter wrench in stock, and I'll try this one. And I believe these ones would be on pretty tight too, because usually any bike you get from factory is really tight in that area. So what I'm going to do, they've even got it marked there at the side, just about there I think, and where they brought up to. Now hopefully I'll be able to undo that one there, and I'm going to pre-loosen it, see how that strap goes, pre-loosen it, and then tighten it up again, then run the motor till it probably gets up to around, I don't know, 50 Cs on the indicator there, and we'll go from there. Well, unfortunately that idea didn't work too well, so I couldn't really get in there to get the leverage on it to move it. So I've got no choice now, but I've got to undo these 13mm, only 4 of them, get that out of the way, and then get a clear run at it. Yeah, so here I was ready to get into it and get this filter off, and I bought this new, a great looking Chinese, what do they call it, a strap wrench, and on this particular job, absolutely useless. Just slipped straight out of its slot, like so, when I was putting pressure on it. tore it up a little bit there. Only get what you pay for, and you never paid much. Now, the big thing I've learnt so far, and we're only just into it, one good thing about these CFMOTOs, all the screws and bolts and all that, what you go to undo, they're all nice and tight, so they're really well put together in that line, you know. Nothing that looks like it's going to fall off. But another thing to look at is when you get onto these filters here, and if you decide to watch someone else's how to do a oil change on one of these, and they say that the filter's a little bit tight, don't believe those idiots. It's not a little bit tight, it's effing tight. And in the end, the only thing I can find now, unless I go back to the shop again, this is the smallest, I'll call this new old stock, that I can use. And it's bloody old, alright. But the fact is, you won't move that filter. The only way, if you haven't got the right one to grip it, the only way you'll get out of it is a screwdriver right through it and belt it out that way. Now I can't do that one because I want to go in salvage mode, and I want to pull this filter off in good condition so that later on I can cut it up and we can have a look inside it. So that's the idea of getting it off, or you could be a bit aggressive with it. But at this stage it's on really tight, so if you're watching any other one doing an oil change, don't believe the crap if I say it's a little bit tight. Once again, it's effing tight. So what we will do, and like I said, this is only a shitty old one now, I've had it for years and years for different things, so we'll just see if we can get it to perform. Bloody almost jarred me back there trying to get that other one going. So we'll just bring it around here to get it. You could get a bloody hernia trying to get this filler off, but it's coming. Come on, you bastard. Come on. Far out. Oh, Jesus Christ. I thought I'd be pretty good. You know, all these blokes should be good at getting these off with all their pulling experience, but, you know, sometimes it's not the bloody case. I don't think there's any need to put friggin' things on like that. No wonder I usually only hand tighten them and then take them a quarter. Okay, we're at this stage now, it's loosened off. I'll go forward now, tighten it up so it's sealed properly, and then I can start the motor and give it a little bit of warm up. Then I can come into it now. Geez, I'm glad I did this, because if I would have been hanging around with that hot exhaust and couldn't get the filter off like this, I'd be in, could be a world of pain. So let's battle on. So here we go, off with the end 52 magnets. We'll pull them off now and set them here. Get this sump plug off and see how this oil looks. Oh, crack. Oh yeah, 50 years of playing with sump plugs. And as soon as I let this go, I'll go around the other side and open the top part of the filler there. Try to get this off on, get back here. Try to get this off on a clean sweep, like so. Probably won't see this, but I'll bring my good camera into it. Really clean, pretty clean. I'll just go out in the sun so I can see better. I'll tell you what, this bloody sump plug is as clean as what I'd pull off one of the Hondas, and they are usually really clean motors, but that surprised you. Yeah, so look at the oil, nice dark colour, doesn't look like anything's going wrong there. But I'm really surprised by this. I'm going to get my good camera with the macro effect, and we'll zoom right in onto this plug. My thoughts on this bike would be, and no one else has done it anyway, so it's only an experiment, that you'd be able to not worry about running it, you know, doing a 500 kilometre drop at this stage, how it looks, and you could just battle on and ride it up to 1,000 with no worries whatsoever. Well, if I wouldn't have undone the oil filter there, I probably could have just put this straight back into it. So, hard to say, but I'm at this stage now, so I might as well do the swap over and kick off from scratch. But I'm just saying, like, my thoughts would be now, seeing how clean this is, I honestly expected a lot of rubbish on that, but a lot of metal with the extra drawn power of the magnets, but not the case. Like, once again, I hate to say it about this CFMOTO 450, but I'm impressed. Keep it on the side stand, just let it drain a little bit more. I'm happy how things are going this way. Then I'll drain that oil into another container and see if there's any metal in this collection tray. And apart from that, I can hit it with 2.5 litres of, now, when we get to the 2.5 litres, I could use 10W40, semi-synthetic, I think they recommend, in case you're wondering. I won't show you what sort of oil I'm using because, you know, it'll just open a barrel of complaints about what you should be using and what not. But you use whatever you want to, I'll use what I want to, everyone's happy. Main thing I've learned at the moment is, one, this is a super clean motor at the first 500 kilometres, because like I said earlier on Enfields, I've done oil changes on Enfields in 50 or 70 or 100 kilometres from brand new on those old classic 500s, and now the filthiest looking rubbish comes out of those with all the metal and everything like that. But after that's out of the way, the motors go quite well. So just because in some ways you pick up a bit of metal in the motor doesn't mean, oh, that motor's going to shit itself. It's just probably the way it's polishing everything up in there as it's working along. But so, you know, that's one way to look at it. But this way, with this bike, I'm really happy on that side. Like, well, I'm saying now, if you're here now thinking, oh, I might do one at 5, my thoughts would be now, forget that idea and just run it right through to the 1,000 kilometres, because I've already done the homework for you, checked it out for you, and I think what they've got at first service at 1,000 is pretty good, and that will get you out of trouble, save you a few dollars. Mine may be better off with its new oil and filter, but it's just something you don't have to worry about. So I'll get on with this side now, put it all back together. All I've got to do is put the sump plug in, pull that filter off. Oh no, we're not finished yet, we have to cut that bloody filter open. Sorry about that, I jumped the gun. So we'll get onto that side of it too, so when I put this together, everything's there, and all is well. Now, once I get this filter off, I'll be taking it down to pathology and they'll check it and then cut her open to see what they reckon, and we can go from there. Okay, that's out now, and we'll take this oil sample over there. I'll pour it into another container, and then after that we'll see if there's any rubbish in the bottom of this nice bright yellow collection bin. Anyway, two things we got going. One, the wife's gone to work, so I can pour the oil in this container. If it spills on the cement, I can clean it up before she gets here, so that's one. And two, we're going to use a Aussie 3 litre milk container, and the idea is this: I pour the oil out of that tray into this container, then I mark it like I do all the bikes, how much I pulled out of it. I mean, it should have been filled right to start with, you would think, with a bike that had only done 300 mile or 500 k's. So we'll pour what's on there, I'll mark the solid with a permanent marker, then I've got a rough idea how much come out of it. I'll put the same back in and I'll have a good guideline what's going on there. So let's get that oil. Now I'd totally cleaned this out, the container that is, so it was nice and clean, there was no contaminants or any rubbish in it. So first up we're just going to pour this oil in. Yeah baby, we're there. Don't get too excited. Then we can check the bottom of the tray. And that's what I like about this yellow one. You can't buy these yellow trays. I haven't seen any for sale for years, but what I like about them, you can look into them and see if there's any rubbish there. I'm confident it's a good bike, so we'll keep going. You know, I tell you what, the tray's clear. I'll just raise the camera. Raise the camera. The only thing it's got in it is I dropped one of the split washers from the sump plug, and that's the only thing sitting there at the moment I can see. But Jesus, look at that, super clean, hard to believe, unreal. I don't think I'd get a Honda that clean, to be honest. And I've had a lot of bikes, so you know, I don't know how many oil changes a year I'd be doing on bikes, but quite a lot, at least 20. So there you go. How clean is that? Look at that. Look at that. Nothing there at all. Absolutely zero. I should be back out on the road and give it another quick 500 kilometres and give it a second chance to shit itself and throw some rubbish in there. But no, look at that. Can't win. Yeah, I tell you what, I've had a lot better bikes here, or more expensive ones, I think, than this, and pull the crap out of. That Vespa, it cost $13,500. Wanted to do the oil change on that, it had a fair bit of rubbish in it. So there you go. There I've seen the light, and I think Chinese is the way to go. So apart from that, we can pull this out like so. And what I do now is usually mark it like so, and there's my guide on it. See, I've got, so these apparently take about 2.5 litres. This is a 3 litre container, so that looks like pretty well close to me. But geez, I'll tell you what, I'm really impressed with 1, how clean this motor come out, 2, no metal on the nagners, and 3, what a good bike it is. So there it is, hat trick. Okay guys, I've got my oil now, here it is. Look, nice and clean, there you go. And the oil filter I bought was a K&N, and this is what they recommend for this bike, and it's a K&N 177. And the best thing about these, they got the nut there at the bottom so that you don't have to worry about using one of those strap wrenches and that again and have that problem. You can just put your socket up to it, tighten it in that way. What I usually do is I just put a smear of oil around here, and I also like to put a bit of oil into the filter, and it's just old habit, and then pre sort of soak it before I put it on that way. I've done that with all the bikes, cars, everything, and you know, there's been a huge amount, so I've never had any issues that way. So that's something for you to think about. Do whatever you want. You can do it from a dry run. People got this idea that if it's totally empty from start, that's the way to go, or I don't know, I just like to pre-move it so that once your oil starts flowing, it goes straight in and starts moving around. So it's just a matter now, start her up. Let her warm up a bit, and just see now that I've got no oil leaks from either end, especially the oil filter. There's the K&N. So I'll give it a few minutes now here to warm up, and then after that, if everything's right, I'll put the sump guard back on. Anyway guys, we're at the stage now where I've got this oil filter cutting tool, Now, I purchased this on eBay, and there's quite a lot there, and they're around about $26, so you won't have much trouble finding one. Now, I was going to put the word on the subs and see if they could put up a GoFundMe to buy one, but in the end I thought that would be maybe too much trouble and probably the best idea compared to other people on channels that ask for things all the time. I should shell out the whole $26 and buy it myself, which I did. So the idea is, once you fit it to this one, it's got double adjustments on it, and you can get into it then, and all you do is lock her in place there on the left-hand side of it there, and then the handle area with the cutter, you screw into it. But when you're trying to remove the top of the oil filter, you don't pull it by the handle in case you bend that steel rod which goes through. So the top part of the red handle there, that is the part you rotate. And as it starts cutting into it, you adjust it a little bit tighter. And within, 30 seconds, 40 seconds, something like that, party over, you'll rip the top off and you're ready to roll. Okay guys, looking at this filter, excessively clean. I can't see any type of metal or anything in it after 500 kilometres or 300 mile. So when I'm prising it open, just super clean. Look at that. There's nothing. Randoms. Yeah. So that was a good idea, buying that thing to cut out the filter. At least you know now that these are a super clean motor. And my thoughts on the CFMOTO MT450 is it's a really, really good bike in all areas, and it's really nice and clean in that 500 kilometre one. Rather than run it 500 kilometres now, I might run it 1,000 kilometres from now and see how that goes, rather than get out there and change the filter bit. So rather than change it at 1,000 kilometres where it would have, that's another 500, in this case just run it 1,000 more and then do the oil change and filter again at 1,500. Okay, I'll just do a recap on removal of the sump guard and these covers. Only take off the left one, 2 volts, or 2 volts there, 5mm I think they were, I said earlier on. Just move this plastic cover out on this side. The sump guard itself has got to really come off. 2 volts at the front and 2 there on the underside. Now when you put it back on, just push your sump guard in place and then just sort of finger tighten them on so it's a loose fit, because there's a fair bit of flex in the guard. And by the way, this guard here, the sump guard, isn't metal, so if you look at my magnet, not over this side but under here, it's only like an alloy, so it's not a that's metal, it's not a metal at all, so it's only an alloy sump guard, but still better than nothing. Now that bit aside, so the idea is just bed your bolts in, 4 of them all at once, so you've got a chance to move around, because it's a tight flex in there, and you'll need a little bit of movement to jiggle it around to get it in place, and then after that it tightens up pretty well. Now I had another person ask me about what compressor I bought when I did the painting on the car. Now we'll just swing over here. I decided when I did the spray job on this MG, and I should have done it to the GB352, I had to go and buy another compressor. So I bought this compressor for $220 at Supercheap, and believe me, it does a pretty good job. So if we go over here to the car now, I'll show you a before photo. And here's what I'm up to now. Fully resprayed the front of the MGF again, so that's looking okay. And I've also stripped all the interior here where it was yellow and all that inside, and I pulled the dash out, the other stuff, and I've painted that. So when you look at that side, these are the ones I've painted with it too. That's a bit hard to see, but there they are. So that's all ready to go back together now, but if you're after a cheap compressor, I don't think you can go past that one for 220 bucks at Supercheap. So apart from that, the oil change is done now on the MT450. Hope you found that interesting. If you do, you can give it a thumbs up if you'd like. And at the moment now, I've been told by the dealer, the high seats arrived, the centre stands arrived, and the crash bars, plus a few other things. So it's a long weekend this weekend, so after the long weekend I might look at next week, go up and get them, or get them posted down to me, and this is ready to go. So apart from that, thanks for tuning in, taking a look, and cheers.